I do have other business, a couple items. One is, as Yogi Berra says, it's deja vu all over again, and what he used to say too is that restaurant is too crowded, nobody goes there anymore. So on that note, I want to talk about Fort Sheridan and the update with the Lake County Forest Preserve. I know there's some residents in the audience tonight. I've been contacted by a few, and there's been a series of meetings. There was a recent meeting that I attended at the Lake County Forest Preserve District in reference to the Fort Sheridan Golf Course. And there was a commitment there to work with all the communities on a regional basis to see that this commitment is met on the part of the Lake County Board, and that we would look at all of our golf assets and see if there were ways through maybe perhaps changing some of our golf assets to different uses that would hasten and facilitate the construction of the course. I know other governments have taken actions that were at that meeting with respect to the course. I want you to be clear that those governments do not bind us. The City of Highland Park is its own home rule entity, and the position we stand by is the original resolution that we passed. And this entire City Council is committed to seeing through the construction of that golf course. There was a recent meeting that Councilman Mandel and our staff attended where the Forest Preserve District did decide to go forward on investigating bidding for the construction of the Fort Sheridan Golf Course. We're going to continue to monitor their progress and continue to work with them on behalf of the community and make sure that that commitment is made. And so I don't want anybody in the public to question our commitment to this effort, regardless of what other governments are doing. While this is not in our community, the golf course, it's actually in Lake Forest, it serves residents of both the community of Highwood and Highland Park, which were part of the original PUD, and a commitment was made to build a golf course. So with that, I'd like to ask anybody else on the council to comment, but also to hear from any of the residents at this time. Councilman Brenner.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad you brought this up this evening because this is an issue that's very dear to me. And, you know, I am very upset about this. I've been very upset about this since the County Forest Preserve has really done a 180 on us with their obligation on this golf course. And, you know, we've always supported the referendums of the county when they wanted to get all this acreage of land in north and northwest parts of the county. We have a very large assessed valuation in Highland Park, so a lot of our money goes to these purchases of property. And the county is saying that, you know what, a golf course isn't going to really make us a lot of money right now. And you know what, all that land that they get in Lake County, in the north end of Lake County with our tax dollars, it's not making a lot of money. It's costing us money to keep this acreage open and keep this as open space. And I feel very strongly that if it costs money to run the golf course, so be it. They made an obligation to our citizens. They made an obligation to the Army, the federal government, to build a golf course. I don't think it has to be a $25 or $30 million golf course. I think it could be a golf course which is much more reasonable. There's par 3 courses out there that wouldn't be in competition with any other courses around. And I think something could be done very nicely. And I think we have to hold the county's feet to the fire on this, and we cannot let up on this.
Thank you. And I do think, though, what's envisioned is a regular golf course. There was some talk at some point about a par 3, but the cost of doing that is the same of doing a regular golf course. It could be that some of the other assets in the area, and that's why we have these groups at the table, is maybe one of those would be changed to a par 3 to attract a different type of customers. So I think right now in our resolution, our commitment is for them to follow through on what they had promised. Okay. Councilman Mandel.
Thank you, Mayor. I had the pleasure of representing you and the rest of the council at the Forest Preserve meeting. Obviously, they are not focused and tuned in to where we want them to be. I made it very clear that there was a commitment from the Lake County Forest Preserve District and Lake County to build this course. They got that property for $0, but we did not put $0 into that plan. We had about $300 million of historic preservation, of environmental remediation and a lot of open space attributes along with the public access that allowed them to get that property for free. And it is an obligation that they must stand up and honor. And for some reason, that seems to be foggy to them, but I hope that we can drive that home. I hope they understand that. And in a spirit of cooperation, I think we can work with the other municipalities. Obviously, Highwood and Highland Park and the residents that live there and the Lake County Forest Preserve are the prime people of negotiation. But, you know, I don't see a reason why we can't, why Lake Forest and Lake Bluff shouldn't help us work on the economics of a golf course that should be built there and will be built there. But I think working together with them and as our city manager Lamarty talked about, having a golf course plan so whatever's built there works in harmony with the other communities is a good idea to have a discussion. But I think the Lake Forest and Lake Bluff have to understand that this is a commitment that's going to happen, and a commitment that was made. When I bought my house and I took out my mortgage, I can't tell the bank, I guess I could tell the bank I'm not going to pay the mortgage, but that's not right. And you know something, the Lake County Forest Preserve, as Councilman Brenner said, has gotten a lot of money and has money in the bank. It's not like they don't have the ability to be able to follow through with the promises that they made. And these weren't wishy-washy. It was interesting as I was up there, some of the commissioners were talking about, you know, the developer made these promises. And I said it wasn't the developer that made the promises, it was the county that made the promise. And with that promise, we were able to build a great community, a great development up at the town of Fort Sheridan as them being partners in it. And they need to stay to that commitment of partnership and work with us getting this done ASAP and doing it the right way so it has the least impact on neighboring communities and ourselves with the economics, but honoring the commitment and building a nice golf course that we can all be proud of.
Thank you. Councilman Kirsch. Right.
Mayor, I'll be brief because I concur with the prior statements, but I do appreciate you bringing this up because we can't be too forceful in reiterating this constantly and standing by what was committed to. So I appreciate you bringing this to light again this evening.
Thank you, Councilman Kirsch. Councilman Lolli.
Just briefly as well, just to cover something slightly different, is that I think that we all appreciate the efforts of a number of residents who live in the area. Bill Lolli's here, and there's a couple other gentlemen here who are here this evening representing the homeowners association up there. And I really do think that your efforts are to be applauded.
Okay. All right. I guess we're going to take this business from the public. We'll take this now under the report of the mayor if you'd like to speak.
Thank you for